Good morning all, welcome back to another video. I know, it's been a while, apologies for that. I have been on holiday and on top of that we had the international break. So I didn't really get an opportunity to really talk about the previous sort of three games because number one, it was 8 hours ahead. Number two, there was no internet. And number three, I didn't get to see the games at all. So it was a bit pointless me trying to talk about the game if I hadn't seen it or didn't really know what had gone on. So obviously saw the results, but having seen the results didn't necessarily give me anything to kind of go, but this is how we played and this is what I thought of the setup or whatever. So anyway, finally got to go back to the stadium yesterday. Travelled up with South Dorset Spurs, had a great day. And that's what I've always said about it. It's not always about the 90 minutes, right? It's about, the camaraderie. And I was actually talking to one of the guys, Ben, about this yesterday. And, the thing is, it's about the camaraderie. It's about the banter. It's about having a few beers. It's about meeting up with old friends, making new friends, having a sing-song, having a moan, forgetting about your worries for, a day, where you're out kind of just really enjoying, being with like-minded people and stuff like that. It's a life choice. Ruby, please. It's a life choice. You have to have the last say, don't you? You're going to do it again. Stop. I'm making a video here. And don't you start over there either. Look, got him over there on the back of the chair as well. It's always difficult trying to do this stuff. Anyway, so one of the other things I've always talked about is the fact that you get a different experience depending on how you watch the game. So if you watch a game in the stadium, that's one. If you're watching it in a pub, it's two. If you're watching it at home on your own, it's three. If you're watching it with friends, if you're watching it, if you're listening to it on the radio, whatever it might be, you get a different perspective of the overall thing. But prior to the game, it really felt like this was a game that we needed to put in a performance, not just win. We needed to actually put in a performance. And someone said to me, I think there'll be some dissenting voices if we don't win this convincingly. And I tended to agree with that. And as I haven't had a look, to be honest. But I think that was true. I think after the really poor result against Fulham, to come up against another team who's really down there struggling, you want to be making a statement and trying to really take it on. Things are really tight in that top sort of four battle. So there is an opportunity for us to overachieve and get into that this year. But it's going to be tough, and we've got a right tough running. So you want to be taking maximum points from the teams where you really expect to take them. And of course, we did. We did do that. We took maximum points. We got the 3 points. We got the win. Everyone moves on to the next game on Tuesday. But I guess being in the stadium yesterday and watching the game, I have to tell you, my experience from watching the game and those around me was that this was really poor. It felt like a really poor game, and it felt like we were just so off it, really off it. And you just, there were times when people were just chatting about general stuff because they'd kind of lost interest in what was going on. And I think that's really sad because we've had, Andrew's brought so much in terms of entertainment to the club and passion and excitement. The fact that he's kind of gone off the boil is a bit annoying because we want it all, right. We want to win, but we want to be entertained at the same time. We want to see fast, attacking, free-flowing football, and we want to win, and we want to see loads of goals and so on. And so when you start to watch the game and you're 1-0 down after sort of 3 minutes, you think to yourself, oh, here we go again. When are we ever gonna, really control these games and put the teams to the sword? So as I say, my experience was it was quite poor. We didn't feel like we were creating anything. It felt slow. It felt laboured. Have to call out a couple of players. I thought Kulu and obviously he came off. But I felt Kulu was off it. It feels like he was really deep and not really in the attacking third. Didn't put any crosses in. Didn't create any chances. The other one that really bothers me the most, and I'm not sure why he is in the situation he is, but Basuma doesn't feel like the same player that was at in the first 10 games. And I know he's had a bit of a problem. He's had some injuries and he's been away and he's been suspended and all the rest of it. So I guess that takes a toll. But it just feels like there's something else going on. Like when we had with Richarlison, where Richarlison was really struggling and nothing was going right and so on. And we found out like there was some mental issues in there, some family problems and this, that and the other. And once they were resolved and he had this niggly injury and so on and so forth, once that's been resolved, he actually, turned a corner and started to be a better player. It kind of feels a little bit like that. So I don't know if there's something going on with Basuma that he kind of needs a little bit of, I don't know, a bit of time or a little bit of understanding. And I think we should always give understanding. But that's not to say you can't say that he had a poor game yesterday, because I felt he did. And at one point I was talking to Adam, shout out Adam, next to me. I think I'd rather have Højbjerg in there, and I know not everybody's a fan of Højbjerg, but I felt that he would bring something. He'd bring a bit of passion and he would bring a bit of, grit and determination in there. Because for me, at some points Basuma was, right at the back, alongside the centre backs, and I'm thinking, why are you so far? Why are you so deep? We need you kind of linking the play with the front players, with Maddison or Sonny or whatever. But that's not just to call him, because I felt the whole team was very deep. There was nothing going on in that front third, and it just really felt like that. So of course, when the changes came in at half time and Brennan Johnson came on, felt that was a real positive move. I really did. And he did bring some impact. He was far further forward. He was putting crosses in. He was attacking the ball. He was closing down, and so on. I felt that we really kind of picked it up. So yeah, a big shout out to Brendan Johnson, who is another one who's taken a fair bit of flack this season. But I think he's contributed a fair bit. At the end of the season, we'll look back at his stats and go, you know what, he for a first season, he was impactful and did bring something to this team. So I mean, ultimately he made the winning goal. Had one cleared off the line by millimetres as well. Put the cross in for the equaliser. Getting an own goal there. So he was kind of involved in everything, and probably for me was my shout out for man of the match. I thought he played really, really well. I think the other one I wanted to call out as well was Bentancur. When he came on, he was really keen for the ball. You could see him showing for it and calling for it and trying to control it. And I thought that was a little bit missing. He really put in some good effort. And bear in mind, he's been playing with another injury and so on. So it was really good to see him back and being so keen to get involved. And I thought he brought something. I thought those substitutions were good. The one, and I told him I was going to do this. There's a guy who sits next to me in row 41 in the south stand called Adam. Good guy. And he was all excited because we brought Lo Celso on. And we were having a bit of banter about Lo Celso, because I've got to be honest, I'm not Lo Celso's biggest fan. Like, he's made, he's at 100 appearances now. And I'm like, really? 100 appearances in all the time he's been at Tottenham? And what has he really contributed? And I've always felt that he always plays better for his country than he does for the club. I worry he spends so much time falling over because he's been tackled and touched slightly. And I just don't feel he gives enough. And Adam said he's going to change the game. He's going to really do something. And I think there was a little bit of banter in that. Wasn't there, Adam? And But I have to eat a little bit of humble pie this morning because actually he did do all right. He did kind of bring a little bit to it, and he was involved in the build up to the goal. So I have to say, he did okay. I still don't think that he is a player that I would want to see in the starting 11 all the time, because I just don't think he's committed enough. And I think he's had his time and it's not been proven. But this is just my opinion, right? And other people may think actually he's he's a good squad player and someone you can rely on. But I just don't think he is. I just don't think he fits in. So ultimately, we get the win, and at the end of it all, we're all happy because we've got the 3 points, and we're all doing big Ange and all that at the end, and the music's pumping and stuff, and it's a little bit of a feel good. And coming out of the stadium, there was some singing going on in the South Stand, led by Leader Rabbi. Good to see him back as well after his ban, because I know that was hurting him a lot. So he was there leading the singing as we was leaving the stadium. Not quite the beating West Ham or Chelsea levels, but it was still good to see people leaving happy. The other thing I was going to call out as well, because I think it's important, is 65 minutes. There is a how do you say it? I don't know what the word is, but a demonstration. Jesus Christ, brain shot. There was a demonstration, well organised, leaflet in. I saw it all over social media, to turn your back on 65 minutes, to highlight the fact that Skinflint Levy is deciding that he's not going to give concessions to 65-year-olds, which is a disgraceful. It's a disgraceful thing to do, really. I get it, sustainability, club needs the money and all this, but they are churning out money like it's going out of fashion. That stadium was absolutely full. The bars are full, the food and all the rest of it. People were there an hour after the game, they're there a couple of hours before the game, all that kind of stuff, the merchandising, the money they're making out of this. If you're that worried about sustainability, Daniel, maybe you should take less than £20 million a year out of the club for yourself, because I'm pretty sure you probably don't need it, So, there's people out there struggling, having to buy season tickets, that were looking forward to getting a bit of respite after supporting the club for probably 50 years, travelling home and away. And I've been talking to people that are doing it. There's people that are over 65 that have been travelling with this club over 50 years of their lives, from little kids, home and away and all the rest of it, whenever, Europe and all these sort of stuff, and buying the merch, and they get absolutely nothing. Anyway, the idea was to turn your back on 65 minutes. Didn't quite work out as organised as you'd want it to be fair, but there was big amount in the South Stand that did turn their backs, that did stand up, turn their backs and stuff, and you can see it, and there are people that took videos of it, and I thought that was great, the fact that there was a bit of unity amongst the supporters to do something for fellow fans, even if you're not 65, and I might look it, but I'm not over 65 yet, so I'm no benefit to me. But I will be 65 at some point, and I would like to have thought that there was an opportunity to get some kind of concession. Maybe the concession can be, a bit less than what it is, and that kind of, there's a balance in there. But to take it away altogether, I think is disgraceful. Anyway, so I just wanted to point that out, and well done for those guys that have organised that, spread the word and so on. And I think this will be one that will probably continue. It's not a one-off, as I understand it. So good luck to those guys. And when I'm there, I will be participating, because I think it's an important one. Anyway, so great to see the good feeling as you left the stadium. People were happy and so on. But I did think to myself, because I was talking to Bob, who's chairman of the South Dorset Spurs in LTs at the end, and he was like, what do you think of the game? It didn't feel like very good, and all the rest of it. Good to get the win, and everyone was happy to get the win, right? Because it's all about the points, ultimately. And I was like, you know what? I think what I'll do is tomorrow, as in today, I shall watch the highlights, and kind of see, whether it felt as bad as, or if it was as bad as it felt. And I have to say, like I said right at the beginning, you get a different perspective when you're watching it on the TV or whatever, because you get replays and you get to see the whole pitch, and they'll pick out the important parts of the game. And I have to say, there was a fair few opportunities in the game. Sonny's shot that hit both posts and come out. Werner missed a very close shot. Brennan Johnson had one cleared, like I said, millimetres off the line. And there was some opportunities where we really kind of took it to them. And I think from a Luton perspective, they had three good opportunities. One they scored, and the two that Vicario... First one that Vicario saved, I thought it was an easy save, and he probably should have done it. The second one, which was hit on a volley at him, I think it was Barkley, or I think I might be wrong, and he kind of palmed that one away, which was a better chance for him. But apart from that, I didn't feel that Luton really challenged us very much. They kind of sat back. They did a fair bit of time wasting, which a lot of clubs will do. And that's when the 9 minutes extra time came from, which was like really frustrating at that point, because we'd taken the lead and we just wanted the game over. And it kind of didn't really suit us to have it. Had we been 1-1, I'd have said, that's your own fault for wasting all that time. But yeah, so I watching it on the TV, there was some opportunities in there. There was some good chances and stuff. But I guess, when you cut a 90-minute game or a 99-minute game down to, 5-10 minutes worth of highlights, it is easier to put a big, good spin on it. Now, some of the guys in our WhatsApp group were saying it was a better game on the TV than maybe we were calling out in the stadium. So, like I say, different perspectives. So I don't think it may not have been as bad as it felt, but I say, from a match-going fan's perspective, it was a poor game, or it felt a poor game. But obviously happy to take the points. It's great to get back on that level points with Villa until their game, and obviously they won 2-0 as well, or 2-0. So that kind of puts them ahead of us. But we've got the game. I think that'll be our game in hand against them, against West Ham. So that's a massive, massive game, almost like a cup final for us. Going to be a tough one, and we've got a tough running, right? We've still got Chelsea to play, we've still got Man City to play, we've still got Liverpool to play, still got Arsenal to play, still got Newcastle to play, who had a great result coming back to beat West Ham. So it's not going to be easy, but you have to take the ride as it comes, and the results as you get them. Beginning of the season, I've said this many times, beginning of the season, I was not expecting us to be battling for a Champions League spot. I was kind of hoping that we might get into Europe. No Harry Kane, total rebuild, new unproven manager that we didn't know anything about, and so on. And here we are. We've made a real good go of it this season. There's been some good games. We've played some decent football. We've made some signings. We're moving in the right direction. And I, for one, absolutely agree with Ange. I don't feel that top four is a trophy. I don't think it's anything that we should be really calling out as major success. If we get in the Champions League, are we going to win the Champions League? No. Are we going to give it a good go? Not really. We're going to probably be the also-rans, like a lot of teams are in that competition, when they kind of just about get into it. So, and I don't subscribe to this, you'll get better players and you'll spend more money, and I don't believe any of that either. So for me, I'm happy if we get into Europe. I feel that's progression and gives Ange an opportunity to build the squad even further and develop his ethos of how we're going to play and so on. So yeah, I guess as a summary, happy to have got the points yesterday. Looking forward to seeing how we get on against West Ham, because that'll be pivotal if we can win that. That really gets us in a decent position ahead of some really, really tough games coming up. So anyway, that's that. Final thing that I've got to do, because I said that I would do this. Sweary Alex. I've got to give Sweary Alex a shout out, because he said, "You never shout me out in your videos. You never shout me out, mate. I'm really disappointed. buy you drinks, and I'll spend time with you and all the rest of it. So I'm going to do a shout out to Sweary Alex, and I just want to say your ponytail looks really stupid, and you do look like a pirate with your earrings. So you probably need to sort that out. Listen to Dean, he's your mate, and if he's telling you look silly with a ponytail and earrings, well, you know, what else can I say, mate? But anyway, Sweary Alex, there's your shout out. I'll see you at the Arsenal game. Have a good one. See everybody else on the next video. Thanks for watching if you've got this far. If you're having a 20-minute poo and you can spend 20 minutes watching this, thanks very much. Please comment. Great to have comments back. Let's see what you think, see how you felt about it. And I'll speak to you on the next one. Up the Spurs.